Today on Judge Porter.
And I always think like the reason that happened was because he was in a situation that he had no control over.
No, I genuinely want to thank you for looking at me as a human and not just another mistake. You've really, really helped my outlook in just having an overall positive anything. I haven't had that for almost 8 years or 7 years, however long I've been in that prison at this point. I really want to thank you.
We're here for case number 9613, Nicholas Hampton versus the people of Mango Park. Mr. Hampton, good morning, sir.
Hello, Your Honor.
I see here that you have filed a motion to modify your sentence. Am I reading that correctly, sir?
Correct.
I find it kind of interesting that you did not request an appeal. So basically you're saying, I did it, but there's some circumstances.
Absolutely. And
okay, these circumstances that you're getting ready to present before me, did you bring this up in your previous court case?
I did, but at the time...
Did you bring up everything at the time?
No, I did not.
Okay, it also shows here that you were sentenced for 15 years for substance abuse possession. I believe it says here heroin. Am I reading this correctly?
You're correct.
It also shows here that you've served 7 years. So
Correct.
You've got 8 years left on your sentence.
Correct.
And you're here to modify that particular sentence. And do I have all the facts correct?
You are correct, sir.
All right, Mr. Hampton, tell me why I should modify your particular sentence.
Absolutely. I can tell you exactly what I went through and how I've gotten to this point. It all started, like you said, 7 years ago at this point. I was at a stoplight on my motorcycle, and I don't know if the car behind me decided they didn't want to stop or if they didn't see the red light. Essentially, I got slammed from behind at a red light, and my back was severely injured. My L1 and my L2 essentially shifted and were fused together. And from that, I had to get put onto painkillers and things like that, Oxycontin, Dilaudid and whatnot, different painkillers to try to figure out what would help this pain. And from there, I sadly got addicted to those painkillers, and from there went to recreational use and street drugs.
Let me ask you this question. As far as after the accident and you were given Oxy to help alleviate the pain, did you have, I'm just curious, did you have health insurance at that time?
At the time, I did have health insurance, and the health insurance was luckily a great thing because the person who hit me had no insurance. So almost everything I had to deal with myself.
Okay, so how do you go from being on Oxycontin to being
So essentially,
okay, let me ask you. I know that you were arrested for heroin possession. Were you using heroin? Okay, how did you go from Oxy to heroin?
So I was on the Oxys, and as with anything, you build a tolerance. And I was prescribed to take, 1 or 2 a day. That 1 or 2 a day, would turn into 3 or 4. And before I knew it, I was running out of a script before I could get a refill, but I was still in pain. And in part of it, yes, I will own up to it. I was chasing a high, but I was also trying to feel normal. I was just trying to not be in pain. So I did what I could do next, and that was turn to the street and find illicit drugs that way.
Okay, well, here's what I need to know, sir. Did you advise your doctor at the time that you said that you needed more
I did.
And what did they say?
They hit me with the same thing every doctor has in the past that I've talked with is, oh, only X amount of people do get addicted to this. You should be fine once you're off of it. And that's essentially the answer I got from him every time. The dosage was not changed. I basically, after X amount of months, was made to cold cut the Oxy
Okay,
And
now when you were cold cut, did that decision come from the doctors or did
Yes.
the decision come from, so, all right, so what about the insurance? What was their part in all this?
the insurance, the health insurance or
The,
car
the,
insurance?
the health insurance as
Health
far
insurance,
as,
they
because I know
paid.
if you're getting a script, right?
Yes.
And I'm assuming you said you had insurance at the time.
Yes.
The insurance paid for
They
those
did.
scripts, right?
They did.
Okay. At some point in time, I'm going to assume they said,
No more.
that's it. Okay. What led up to that? That's what I'm trying to get to.
I'm going to assume it was me going in and asking for more scripts before the time had ran out, in which they probably had saw that as abuse, maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, if you, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm just going on a guess here, but if you built up a tolerance to the prescription that you had, did the doctor recommend putting you into a treatment program or anything like that?
They didn't. Funny enough, they changed the drug and got me onto something that was heavier and helped feed my addiction more, to be honest. And that one was Dilaudid. And then from there, it all, it went to street drugs.
Okay.
There.
So how did you end up in that situation?
I was caught with a minor infraction of personal use heroin that I had just went and picked up. And
Okay.
I guess they saw me pick it up, or they saw me and thought, hey, this guy looks like he could have something on him. And
Okay. All right. I understand that you said a minor infraction, but as far as heroin goes, that's a felony in this state.
I understand.
Okay. How much heroin did you have in your possession, sir?
It was only a gram.
Only 8 grams?
Yes.
I have a feeling you had more than that. 8 grams?
Yes.
Okay. Was it your first time being arrested? Well, before you answer that, I did look up your criminal past, which is funny because prior to this arrest, you didn't have a criminal past. Am I looking at this correctly, or there's something else that you?
You are correct.
It shows that there's nothing here.
The few things that they have gotten me for, and I say few because it is
How many times have you been arrested for drug possession?
twice.
And they're both heroin?
One was heroin. The other one was the pills that I was on, but at the time it was not in the script bottle.
Okay. Did you get the script? The script. Did you get that medication off the street?
No, I did not. It was just in a bag that I was transferring because I was traveling and I didn't want to bring my whole script with me.
Okay. So I have an understanding here. Let me see if I can make the Reader's Digest version. You were involved in a car accident. Were you charged with that accident?
No, thankfully
Okay.
I was not. The red light camera showed that he had ran a red light and slammed directly into me.
So someone caused a car crash where you were the victim of the crash to the point where you had to receive medical treatment for
Correct.
this accident. You were prescribed medication
Yes,
to help alleviate the pain that you were going through.
correct.
You built up a tolerance to that.
Yes,
And once you build up a tolerance, you ask for some assistance to help you with more medication or a better medication,
and I was
something to help
essentially turned
get
away.
you through. When that failed, you turned to illicit drugs to help alleviate that.
Correct.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
That's
And-
the story you want me to believe?
And I understand that could be hard to believe, but I also want you to understand that this is not, and as you can see from my criminal history, this is not something that I had ever thought I would go down.
I'm just curious, what did you do prior to going to prison? What was your occupation?
I was riding motorcycles to and from dealerships, essentially just dealer switch out. So I was on the job while I was injured. I was taking one motorcycle from the inventory warehouse over to the dealership lot.
I'm assuming after you got arrested or after you got sentenced, you were fired.
Correct. Even though the accident was not my fault, I was still on a dealership motorcycle. And from there, they fired me to cut losses.
Sigmund Freud, if I can remember correctly, had an addiction. And I believe his addiction was morphine.
Yep.
And it's weird because he's giving advice to people while he's addicted to morphine.
Yes.
Morphine was once used as a medication to help people get over the addiction of cocaine, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Or is it the other way around? I know one was used as the other one.
One drug for another.
One drug for another. And I do understand that you were given some drugs to help you, and it didn't help.
At first, absolutely.
And you took something else.
And I am part to blame on that. You know, it is my willpower.
What do you mean? It's part to blame?
I could have chose to not go do street drugs, but I felt
you
as though
could have. You could have.
I felt as though I had nowhere else to go.
But here's the situation, Mr. Hampton.
Correct.
I have to look at my notes.
All good, sir.
Mr. Hampton, I'm going to tell you a story. Your situation is not unique. As a matter of fact, I wish I could sit on this bench and say, I've never heard a story like this before. I wish I could say that, but that is not the truth. I'm going to give you a true story. When I was a sergeant with the Mango Park Police Department, there was a guy on my squad that I was supervising. And like you, he was on duty and he was involved in a car crash. Mm-hmm. During that car crash, he was injured very badly, taken to the hospital. I remember it was real bad. They gave him some drugs as part of his rehabilitation or whatever. And unfortunately, he got addicted to the point that one time he would come to work and he's very sluggish and whatever. And the higher ups advised this particular officer that you need to clean up your act or risk being fired.
Yes.
And I remember him telling me this, and I went to the higher ups and I said, look, this guy needs our help.
Yeah.
You know, he's built up an addiction to something that he was given, and it's not his fault because he was in this accident. Well, as fate would have it, like your situation,
He was fired.
He ended up taking outside medication. I'll say that. He went to a street pharmacist to help
Correct.
him with this. His situation got worse, and he ended up getting fired. His drug addiction didn't end.
Nope.
That didn't end.
Nope.
That stayed.
Continued.
That continued. He was married. They had children. And he would try to get himself into a program. But now he doesn't have money to pay for the program.
Yes.
So one day he went to the hospital and they told him, I'm sorry, you don't have insurance. We can't help you, blah, 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 blah. Go to this location or whatever the treatment program was, something he'd been to before, something really cheap and really not really there to give assistance. It was just there for show.
Yep.
Well, when he went to the hospital and they told him no, he went to the parking lot. And he killed himself. I remember that because I had to go to the hospital to deal with that scene. I also had to go and talk to his wife that day.
I'm very sorry to hear that, Judge. That's
and
horrible.
tell her that her husband was gone. And he tried. And I think that the reason, and I always think like the reason that happened was because he was in a situation that he had no control over. He didn't ask to be on drugs.
Yep.
He didn't ask to be involved in this car accident. He didn't ask for any of that. The situation just happened, similar to yours. And what bothers me is that we live in a society that we demonize people for being in situations they have no control over. And it's not fair to that person because you're coming and saying, I need help. And they're saying, sucks to be you, deal with it. And I don't understand how we become a society where we become less empathetic to people who are in need.
Everything you're saying is exactly
And it's like
part of my story.
And there's a saying that I used to say, and I still believe this. Every person who commits a crime is not a criminal. circumstances will push you in a situation that you never dreamed that you were in. Here you are, you're on drugs, you're in prison. Let me ask you a question. 20 years ago, on your life path, did you ever see yourself in prison?
Absolutely not.
The people who knew you, your family, your friends, did they ever think that you would be in prison?
No.
But here you are.
And I feel I failed my family so much.
Mr. Hampton, you did not fail your family. To be honest, the system failed you. You asked for help and it let you go because it was just, who knows, more cost efficient, I guess. I don't know. But here's the thing. I have heard your story. I have seen this story play out before. So what I'm going to do, I am going to modify your sentence. I am going to put you into a structured treatment program. I am going to have you removed from prison and put you on house arrest. You will be in the treatment program.
That's fine. I'll follow any probation, anything that I need. That jail is it.
You have 8 years left to your sentence.
Correct.
We can definitely make that probation while you're on this house arrest treatment program. You will be required to report to a probation officer once a month. Every month, great. Without fail. Absolutely. If you have a situation where you relapse and you find yourself back in trouble, they will send you back to prison.
Absolutely.
You understand?
I understand. That? I fully understand.
Now, I will also ask that you have an ankle monitor placed on you during this time period so you can go out and find valuable employment.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that having a little extra money in your pocket is going to be nice.
It will help me immensely.
And also what I'm going to do is, I don't know when your next probation hearing is going to come up, but I will attend your probation hearing and I will speak on your behalf. Because like I said, the situation that you've gone through is not unique.
Thank you so much.
The situation I experienced with my officer is not unique. And unfortunately, if we had more people who learned to be empathetic, rather than demonizing everybody that they don't agree with, or every situation they don't agree with, it's probably be a better world to live in.
Couldn't agree more.
So, Mr. Hampton, do you have any questions or concerns?
No, I genuinely want to thank you for looking at me as a human and not just another mistake. You've really, really helped my outlook in just having an overall positive anything. I haven't had that for almost 8 years or 7 years, however long I've been in that prison at this point. I really want to thank you. Well,
then, this case is adjourned, and I wish you the best.
Thank you. Have a good day, Your Honor.
You too.
I really want to thank Judge Porter today for not only hearing me, but seeing me as a person. I thought jail was all that was left for me at this point. I've been lost for a good few years now. The drug use isn't me. It's not who I am. It's never where I thought I would be. And he is giving me a second chance to not only change my life, but also to be reintroduced to my family's life and be around the people that I love and yearn to be with on a daily basis. Because every day I was in that jail, that's the only thing I thought about. I really want to thank you again, Judge Porter. I won't let you down. I won't let myself down. I won't let my family down.